Hello, it's me, Shirgi. Boo. I've been gone for like the past 5 or 6 days, and I got very busy during that time. There were so many like videos that I needed to watch on the internet, and they weren't just going to watch themselves, so I had to unfortunately be occupied with watching them. And so I was quite busy during those past few days, but now it's time to get back to work on music. And I've talked about this before, so you've probably heard this a billion times, but I started doing all of the arrangement stuffs because I had like no ideas for continuing my current like big project. But I realized that unless the pressure is on for me to actually write something, that is by streaming it, it's not really going to get done. And I do spend literally every night before I go to sleep, I try to imagine the music in my mind just to see if I could get somewhere, basically throwing every idea at the wall until I get something. But usually that ends up in me falling asleep anyway. It's like I think so hard about something that I get tired of it and fall asleep. So instead of counting sheep, I'm counting bars. But whatever works for me, I guess. Okay. I know all of you missed my very loud, thocky keyboard, so I'll be very happy to oblige you with some of its sounds. Okay. I'll get started here in a moment. I was doing a teeny tiny bit of work before this, and I'm not quite sure what's going to come after, so hopefully it starts pouring out of me. I don't like to do a stream where I get nothing done and nothing happens, especially because my stuff is all about productivity and doing work and making projects. It's not just like a game where even if I don't get anything done, I can still fool around and make jokes. That's not really the same with music, so I try to at least do something productive here, and hopefully it makes all of you productive as well. I mean, of course you're not productive because you're watching a YouTube live stream, but whatever. So, we're gonna hopefully get some music stuff done. For this project, I'm trying to have a bit more of a coherent story than just weird episodic details that kind of go in and out. And so that's what we'll be doing. Okay. Pow! Well, look how big the score is. I have my original project pulled up here for reference. So this is what we're going to be rearranging. Mostly like the parts so that the story of the music is a bit more in a place where I like it and it doesn't sound so... What's the word? It doesn't sound so scattered, and it needs to be a bit more coherent. So, what if you switch your name to Love Productive Shirgi, so you're always productive? The fruits of my labor. I'm very productive in music, and especially in love. So, let's get to work, shall we? I'm going to just play this part here. There's not very much, but I'm also going to kill the first violins here. I'm going to play it. There's not much here. You'll listen to it. We'll talk about it. You know the drill. And that's all there is so far. There's something that immediately stuck out to me here in the beginning is that this chord sounds a bit too full. And I think it's because of the 4 horns that are playing here. You can hear it once I isolate these 4 horns when I play the whole chord together. And the horns are... they're kind of taking over the timbre of this chord, and I want to change that, so I need to make it a bit like less full sounding, and I kind of liked it here with the harmony. It sounds okay here, but here it sounds a bit too close. I think instead, this is a... oh man, what chord is this? What is this? F sharp, A sharp, and I think D is in the bass, so this is a D augmented chord, or a dogmented chord for short. So in order to enhance this dogmented chord, let's go check out what's playing here. Your F sharp here in the English horn, your a little bit of movement in the oboe, and the cellos. Let's have some, maybe the cellos are playing a bit more of that close harmony. What are you? F sharp and A. Well, also, if you're a D augmented, that means you're 1+. There you go. Currently B. How about you guys move to D and D? You two here. I want a bit more power here. Bang. Dot. There's D, 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 D. There's an F sharp here in the English horn. There's F sharp and A sharp here in the cellos. Maybe there's gotta be a bit more. Let me just hear what it sounds like first. There's too much D. You know what? Go away. I like you guys here. I think maybe there just needs to be a little bit more string. So how about D and F sharp here. Pianissimo, please. That's a bit too full sounding. I need something a bit less nice. How about we'll have a tuba here play a low D, and we'll have the bassoons fill in the rest of the harmony instead of the stringies. So you stringies, you can play a tritone here, I guess. That's fine. And I'll have my double reed friends here play the rest of the shtick. A, oh, A sharp, D, F sharp, A sharp. Bang. better. I think this high D here is giving me trouble though. I don't really like the sound of this. You can go down to A sharp, I guess, much like you guys are doing here. Instead, actually, I'd like you guys to play both D, since you're cello. Try those. Lower. Or, so I just realized you turn off these chord symbols here. I usually like to have the chord symbols down here on the lowest tuba, so that'd be second tuba. Okay. Brass patches. I'm using the Berlin sounds on MuseScore here. I'm using MuseScore 4. My band is going to play the Great Locomotive Chase, and it caused a bit of fear and panic. I've never heard of that thing before. Like, all I can think is Thomas the Tank Engine and that movie where he gets chased by, like, Spencer or something. And it was very scary when I was a kid, but now when I think of it, I'm like, these are just trains. What's so scary about them? Okay, no other common tones I need to tie together. I don't need to, but I'm going to tie them together. Try one more time. I like that. The bassoons have a bit of a thinner texture. Try here. I like this tom-tom here. I think you can use the lower tom-tom. It sounds a bit too windy, a bit off the bat. There's a bit too much high end that it's introduced. It sounds a bit too sudden, I think, because of that. I might switch it for a bass drum or something. Let me try here, because it comes in directly from the silence, right? So... that's a bit better. Or I could have a timpani perhaps roll this low D here very quietly. So let me steal these guys here and add a tremolo. Bang. Man, I wish there was keybind for tremolo because I use these things so often. Can I make like a... ooh, yeah. Can I make like a favorites panel for stuff that I use often? Hold on. Drag and drop any element here. Here, can I add... what do I use often? I don't use those very often. Dynamics I use often, but... what do I need to like, what do I always like go searching for? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. I keep forgetting how much stuff is in MuseScore. Goodness, like, I need something like I don't use, like there are no keybinds for, I think, is what I need to do. Like, there's no keybind for fermata, at least I don't think so. I don't use glissando too often, but I'll also add that there actually. I use tremolo very often, so I shall add both of you here. Maybe trill. Where's trill? Trill would be under ornaments. Here, I use trill pretty often. Okay, brackets, layouts. There's probably keybinds for page break and system break. Are there? Time to see. They would. I would think they would be under format. Reset beams. Add. Slur. Text. Frames. Measures. No. There's no. I mean, I guess I could set keybinds for them if I really wanted to. Probably, yeah. Maybe I could just add my own keybind. Is there like a keybind for fermata? I'm not sure what they would be, but nope. Okay, what about trill? Add ornament short trill. I don't know, you could do that. I guess Control T is taken for text. What about Shift T? I search by keybind, or do I have to literally look? I guess I can just try it and see what happens. Nope. You know what? I can just have it here. That's fine. Whoa, wait. Since when was there a keyboard panel? This has got to be new. I don't remember this guy being here. Maybe arpeggios. Can I set it to like have this one always be open or something? Oh well. At least I can... we'll have those symbols for now. Now let me hear that. Go. That timpani was very subtle. I might be able to enhance it a little bit if I also have you play tremolo. Here. And I think these guys here are... You know what? Maybe I can split you guys up. That'd be kind of fun. And then both of you play tremolos, hearsies. Nope, I literally had my own favorites panel. I gotta get more used to using the tools that I give myself. Go. I don't like how low that is. Better. Maybe try this. This here might be a bit funny though. Sounds a bit funny with the hard mallets patch, so I'm gonna shift you back to soft mallets for this one. And just a little bit, a spoonful of bass drum. I don't know if I would like a tremolo one. Or like a single hit of a bass drum like this. Try. I would like you to start on the contrabassoons, and then you can move to the a bit lower. I think because I wanted this little horn thing to stand out a bit more, but I think the low brass was really punching against the horns there, so I think I shall have you start there. You can replay here, and the tubas are obviously going to be very loud, so I can replace you with something like no, that'd be too low. I was gonna say the horns here. I mean, maybe it'd be fine, but these notes are quite low. I'm gonna change you to piano here. Let's put you on trombones and just see what happens. There needs to be some kind of chord or something that plays here. And I can't hear you very much, so maybe trombone would stick out more. This kind of rhythm, please. And add piano here. There you go. Okay. Okay. And like I said, there probably needs to be some kind of something happening in the back. I'm not sure what it would be though. Maybe... if I add another... what the heck? Temple Canario? That's not what I want. I need a second timpanist, please. I would like... B natural. Here. Nice and loud, please. With an accent. And to decrescendo. I think the timpani here will, which one is you? Oopsies. I don't like that as much as I thought I would. Okay, then we'll keep you the way you were there, and I'm still not quite sure about this trombone. In my mind I envisioned it as a horn. I probably just need to play with the dynamics a bit. I would like to move this just one bit over. There you go. I'll move this just to pedal a bit further. And that's probably good. In fact, you can hold that note a tiny bit longer, my friends. Try again. Single tam-tam hit here. Hold on. I'm trying to think of what instrument is going to play what I am thinking in my mind. Maybe oboes and bassoons. Nope. It probably would look better if I did this. Okay. Try this? That doesn't quite have the same, quite the fullness that I want though. It's a little bit too thin. Bassoons might be better. Lower. More tritone maybe? What are you? D flat. So your tritone would be... Excuse me, that would be G. So, try this. Okay. Hello. Okay, I can't hear this contrabassoon very much, so to forte you go, which I guess I should have expected. Let me hear this. Do a simple tie here, perhaps. You guys also go down to piano. Nope, not like that. Piano like this. And no, don't hold that note. That's fine. Okay. Okay. I'm going to switch you guys over to violas. And I think... Let me hear this one more time. Okay, you guys definitely need to get louder. I'm not hearing you enough. And you too. And then the same thing happening with you and the horns. Yeah, you guys go to forte. Forte, please. Let me hear this. That's not exactly what I want. It's what do I want? You probably want scrambled eggs. Let me hear this. Okay, well, the violin can't play that low F sharp. Or, no, it's not F sharp anymore. It's just F. Stupid violin. I can't believe you can't play that. Just don't play the slash triplet then. That's fine. I wanted you guys to get quieter anyway. And so quieter you shall get. That's the opposite of quieter. Try this. Okay, that's a bit too dramatic. We're going down a bit too fast. Much like Helter Skelter. You need to come down a bit slower. Okay. That's close to what I want. I think the horns also kind of die away too fast. And so... I thought they were here though. Let me hear this one more time. There needs to be some kind of cellist involvement here, I think. Let me fix my posture. Try again. Let me hear this. And an arpeggio, please. I would like you to be a bit louder, my friend. Not that loud, though. I imagine that might be a bit loud. I would like to hear this chord. No need for the pedal here, that's fine. What's this? E flat, G flat, B. Wait. G. B, what am I looking at? Yeah, that should be. I should just call that. Okay, there you go. That makes a bit more sense to me. If you're B major, then maybe I would like F major here. There you go. And try this. And hold this for 2 beats. What chord was that? I have no idea. I just kind of went by how I was feeling. And my heart said I needed these chords. Okay, try again. I don't want it to be so loud. I changed my mind. In the background, please. And let me just, because you can go in MuseScore here and change the speed of the arpeggios. I'm going to make them a little slower. There you go. How about you a bit higher? And also shut up. You can be a bit louder than that. I also want to hear these fun chords a bit higher. That sounds horrible. Okay, don't do that ever again. Stay out of my sight. Try again. I would like the bass drum to kick in here. No pun intended. Let me add my tremolo here, my favorite tremolo. Probably should have also made the percussion get louder here. I feel like that might cause a bit too much of a cacophony though, so I gotta be a bit careful. How about you guys go, not you, Glockenspiel, you're fine. Actually, you know what, no, I take that back. You can get a bit louder. Please go from pianissimo to piano, please. Same with you, tom-toms. No, bigger crescendo, pretty please. You hear piano. And then back down to pianissimo, please. So you, and you. Oh, pianissimo. You move here. And you, bass drum, you start at pianissimo as well. The horns are a bit too nice here. I need something else. I think the bassoons are less nice. They already played this kind of part, but it's fine. They can play it again. That's fine. Or perhaps concha bassoons can pitch in here. That doesn't sound as good as I hoped it would. Yeah, I was hoping an octave lower would sound a bit nicer. No, go back to quiet. I changed my mind. Okay, and how long was that phrase there? Like 30 seconds? Okay, how about you? Oh, what do I want here? I was tempted to add like some sort of decrescendo there. Not decrescendo. What's the word? Retardando. But I don't think I will. Let me think for a second. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my original project here, which we are rearranging, and I'm going to kind of move around here because I have lots of nonsense. And I would like... you. Which is in 7/8. I'm not... Let me try this. I'd like to try this melody here. Try it in the... Try it in the oboes. Your oboe, right? Blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's you. Okay, and for this I would like something a bit... Can you please do this kind of tremolo and repeats? And bass drum go? Weren't you supposed to be doing stuff? Oh well. Go. Why is this... Why are you slightly... What the heck happened here? No, what... How did this happen? No, it's not that. Thank you. Let me think for a second again. Okay. Okay. And I want here bass drum. Where are you? So on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th beats, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. Bum 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 bum. There you go. But I would like to actually hear it. And I would like my timpani friends here. You're already playing B, and I don't want you to like retune anything if you don't have to. What are we in 4/4? So B, and how about no timpani here? This needs to be slower. I don't like how fast it is. So, no, that's actually faster. What if I do something like this? What do I think of this? I can't really hear that. Let me try this. If I do something like what you're doing, what are you playing? E and A sharp. I shall have you play them here. And I shall have you play your B that you were playing before, and D. That's not D. Or, you know what, let's try F. So... Let me hear this together. It's not quite as menacing as I hoped it to be, probably because I need to specify you guys to play with harder mallets. Something like this. Try again. Why are you like this? Like that, there you go. That's better. Not exactly what I envisioned though. Or... Nope, that's not what I want. I'm getting rid of it. Let me think one more time. I need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the triplets. So I think I do need some kind of retardando here. And I think here the contrabassoon pizzicato is not what I need. So get out of here. It's kind of missing that grumble grumble though. And so I'll add you guys back. And let me put you in the time signature you were written in originally, which was in 7/8. Bang. Although yeah, hold on a sec. Wait, no, that's not 7/8. I put in the wrong. I'm like, why does it look so off? It's because it's supposed to be like this. There you go. That makes more sense. If I put you in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Try this. If I put you in 5/8 instead, then yes, and then try here, you, this measure here, and 4/8. And so you guys can kind of group together here. Although it kind of looks a bit strange. Oh wait, no, that's because it's wrong. You're supposed to be just one measure, and you. This measure is gone. There you go. That's what I wanted. And also these tremolos are all ruined, but whatever. Just, I don't know, fix yourself. There you go. You were your tremolo. And you guys, oh, hold on. You guys just fill these tremolos for a sec. Also, you're supposed to quiet down, thank you. But it's not the same without the, without the weird rumbly timpani. Or maybe I shall continue maybe the bass drum. Yeah, just do what in tarnation? Just do that, please. And then why are you missing a roll, my friend? Do a tremolo here. And please, you're not quite as probably because it needs a bit more harmony, and I'm kind of using the word harmony a bit loosely here, but if I have E here, then you can play maybe like C natural. When is the Shirgi School of Music opening for enrollments? You can join the Discord server whenever you want. All you have to do is click the button or the link, and it'll say, would you like to join the Love Shirgi College of Music Discord server? And you can be like, no, I don't want to be there, that's stinky. And then I can be like, well, okay. And then similar thing with you, but with E and A sharp, please. All of these A's. A sharp. And a slight tempo change here. And tremolo, that's not tremolo, that's the opposite of tremolo. No wonder I have my own bar here for this. And you, my tom-tom friends, and my bass drum friends, you guys all play this. I'll let you guys play the lower tom-toms. And I would like some part here. You hear in the, what are you called, contrabass? I always want to say contrabassoons for you guys because I see the letters in my head, contra, bass, and I just want to say contrabassoon because I'm just so biased towards them. But it is in fact contrabass that we're looking at. Can you be here? Also, y'all, no more tremolo. U A. U-E, U-C, or maybe B. I think you... Also, you are supposed to be playing Arco, which is marked as ordinary here, which is stupid. It's supposed to be Arco. Oh, you can't play an octave lower for this one. Can you play maybe D instead? Like this. Like that. For all these 5 bars to go. That's not exactly what I wanted. Maybe because the viola is a bit too bright. Can you guys play, and that's not it, octaves? So too you. Let me hear it starting from here. Go. It needs to be darker. I don't like how bright that sounds. Probably because of these higher notes here. And there needs to be a bit more ring to it, I think. Maybe... I don't really like these oboes either. I like them less than I thought I would. Can you be in flutes, please, y'all? Maybe these kinds of hits are just not what the music needs. That's what I have in my mind, but of course, I don't even know how to make my own music sound the way I want it to, so. The harp. I don't have a harp in this. I guess I could add one, but I haven't added one. Let me hear it from here again. Maybe it'll come to me if I listen to it enough times. I also would like this again. An octave lower though. Oh, and also the pedal. That's pretty important. And I guess I don't need to write delicato twice, so you just... Can you... Oh man. Hold on. How in the world... Five... No, you... Actually... no, I changed my mind. Don't do that. What are you, E? You hearing the tuba, I'd like a major third here, maybe. Also, shut up. Nope, here. Actually, you guys can kind of continue what the trombones here are doing. But maybe transpose lower into this wonderful E tritone. Like this. Hold on to it like this. Should I wait? I've grouped it like 3 and then 2, so I should probably respect that. So yeah, that makes more sense. And then this is fine, like that. And also not forte. Not I was about to say fortissimo, not forte. Just plain old piano, or maybe pianissimo. I don't know if a tuba can play pianissimo. Whatever. I can't really hear it that much though. I might put you in like contrabassoons or something. Actually, that should be high enough for a normal bazooka. Go to piano, because you're woodwinds. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. How about you start mezzo forte? I'm not hearing that tremolo enough, I don't think. Let me try. I'll try the low C instead. That might be a bit better. And then, can you do... Where are you? Maybe in piccolo, actually, instead of A-flat clarinet, this would be more suited. And I would like here some grace notes. I don't know which, I'll just pick a few. Add a few, I don't know how many I want. What are you, D sharp? And what are you, D sharp? Can you use C sharp? B sharp, A. Have a tiny whole tone scale. Any orchestration tips? You gotta be a bit more specific than that. What plugins are you using for MuseScore? None. I mean, I have these, but I haven't used them yet. Manage plugins. I only have these. I don't have any like third-party ones. That's not what I wanted. Add more. I don't know why I patch plays those so loudly, which is kind of irking me. That's fine. Are you guys still playing Pianissimo? I would like you to be a bit louder. And both of you... Boink. Or maybe Tenuto. And... Can you do like a mallet swap for this one? Okay. Actually, don't do that. I changed my mind. Why the heck? Did I ever say planning to do something here? Try this. Go. That's better. And I would like you to return back to your thing that you was doing before. Okay. Is the music really quiet? I can turn it up for you. Oh wait, it's already at 0 decibels. You can get plus 6 decibels, that's fine. Okay. Starting again from here. it's missing something here. Maybe the pizzicato needs to continue into these measures. Although that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever. Go. And then I want you to return to this here. So I shall just copy this, I suppose. Bang. Easy peasy. This whole writing stuff is easy. Piano. Piano's good. And then I'll have these very simple movements here. Back to pizzicato with you, and actually I want all of you to be pizzicato, so I guess I don't need to change that, but I do need to change it for you. Pizz here, arco here. Arco, there you go. And your pizz. Go. No 7 hits here, just do 6. And you guys can be a bit louder. Right, just like that. And I would like the violins to also have a piece of this. Let me just make super duper sure that you guys are playing piano though. Oh yeah, and also your arco. Not with the period, that's already, there you go. Okay. This piece 4 is like a larger work or its own thing? Is it like a symphony or something similar? It's not a symphony. I don't write symphonies. And I don't like symphonies. So, is it part of a larger work? I guess. I can't hear those pizzicatos as much as I'd like to. Maybe if I... made you build. And you're going a bit too slow, too much. So let me change this. Lower please. I guess I can't because this stupid cello can't play this low B. And let me make sure that you are actually slower, and I had you here as a larghetto before, so I guess I can write a largo here. A largo. There you go. Okay. It's too loud. It's kind of irking me how loud it is. Same with you guys. Shut up! And you! Let me think about this one more time. Starting here from this part. Flute is just not the right instrument for this. Can you do a... What do you see? So... C sharp, F sharp. And I guess I'll have you play something similar here. Can you play maybe C natural? No triplet here. I don't like that very much. And maybe you can start your journey over here. You're an oboe. You're here. You do A, no, F sharp. You do like this. You're supposed to be G flat. So G, or I guess F sharp and whatever, same difference. In this case it's the same. In other cases it might not be. This case is the same. Try this. Go. Get rid of this for a second. I need to think. Can you be... I want to try this. Can you be in the E-flat clarinets, which is you here? Can you be this? And then can you be in the bass clarinet, which is this one here? And you be like this. I want to hear what this sounds like. Go. I think B-flat clarinet would sound nicer here. This clarinet isn't so resonant here. I think down here would be even more resonance. How about 2 clarinets here? Just like this. I'm playing in together with each other. Are those? That's so nice, which is terrible. It needs to be awful. Go. Better. Better. That sounds horrible to my ears, which is why it's exactly what I want. I need a xylophone here. Uh... Go. Did the same thing I was doing, but over here. And I need a trill. And the bass is not loud enough. It's kind of, these guys are kind of taking over a bit too much. Everyone else needs to kind of compensate. Either that or you guys should just shut up. So, shush. You can do your shando though, but down to double P. PP, if you will. Good, and I need, like I said, xylophone. And a triangle. Go. You guys don't sound very full here. Try horns instead. Let me think about this again. So we have this part here. Let me just play it again from here. Good. It needs some triangle, I think. It needs a bit more sparkle. I love sparkle. And also add this timpani roll that we had last time. Nice and loud. Forte. You know, even Tam Tam. Nice. I think it's a bit. I like the fastness because it lets the slower one feel a bit more evil. But it's kind of lacking the darkness. So I think we need to add someone else into the mix here, like the bass clarinet, but also remove all these stupid. There you go. Goody gumdrops, and add a contrabass in there too. Let's forego the bass clarinet, have two bassoons in tandem. It sounds a bit too much. I think the contrabassoon maybe is a bit too heavy. Let's have two bassoons. One bassoon. Maybe, actually, bassoon's a bit too rough. Try tuba. Yeah. That's better. But the tuba can be quieter than the strings. And I would like a nice, quiet, but there, bass drum hits. It won't sound that loud IRL. I mean, that's true, but maybe I should turn down the contrabassoons in the mix here. Get nerfed. Take that. And the same thing with the... what are you called? The timpani. Nice, slow, and steady hits here. But I still want... what the heck? I would still like a nice tom-tom roll. Okay. And then... can you tell I'm getting a little lost in the sauce here? Don't crescendo too much too early. Do like a longer one. Those hairpins are kind of gaudy. Let me change you to the lines. And the same with y'all. And the same with you. And the same with you and the tuba. You guys all do a fun crescendo. To be slightly louder. What are we playing here? Try. hold on. I have something in mind, but I just need to figure out what notes are playing in my head. It's probably something like this. That sounds kind of right as to what I'm thinking. So you guys just play that, I guess. Are we here together? Okay, that's kind of close. Maybe just an octave higher would be better. Right here. This is probably what I want. That sounds more correct now that I can actually hear the notes better because it's not in the contrabassoons. I think this might be more of what I envisioned, or inherent, I guess, in my mind's ear. And you guys are too loud. Shut up. I think there should also be a snare drum here, but like a quiet one. Yoink. You shush because you're a snare drum and you're loud as heck. Dynamics, crescendo. Hello. Hello. Making a symphony? No, I don't like symphonies. Okay, I'm gonna go pull again from my original project. Any tips for learning how to read the godforsaken bass clef? The bass clef is also called the F clef because the two dots surround the F. That's F. You can see here it's F. Like how the treble clef, the little curly surrounds the G, because that's G. So if that's F, middle C is right here. You can kind of envision middle C here because okay, there's a bass clarinet, but just imagine that these are like piano staff for a sec. You can see these are both middle C. Just imagine this is a normal treble clef without the eights. So one ledger line above the bass clef is middle C. One ledger line below the treble clef is middle C. So that's, or you can, I guess you can also learn the how you're taught at an elementary school when you're learning how to read the lines and the spaces. Is A, C, E, G, and this is G, B, D, F, A. Which makes a fun chord. Uh, Other than that, I mean, my first instinct was to say just practice it, but I understand that's not exactly very helpful. Well, it is helpful, but it's not helpful for me to tell you that, because you probably already know that. Uh, the clef, I mean, I've gotten better at reading the alto clef. Not exactly super good at it. I can kind of, because obviously this is like middle C right here in the very middle. And in theory, alto clef is the easiest one, at least from like a conceptual standpoint, because the middle C is literally in the middle of the staff. It's just that I wasn't used to reading it, so it was a little difficult. The way I think of it in my head is that it's like a treble clef, but an octave lower, and also just like a single line lower. So if this is C, then this is C. So I look at a note here and I'm like, oh, on the treble clef this would be a B, but since it's a little bit further down, it's actually a C. So whatever. Tenor clef, don't even talk to me about the tenor clef. Look at this thing. It is awful. There's middle C's right here. I don't know. I don't even see the tenor clef that much in like scores that I like study and read. They usually just opt for the treble clef if they need their instruments to go that high. Like a cello, they just opt for the treble clef instead of the tenor clef, because the composers probably didn't even know how to read tenor clef either, because they hadn't seen it before or whatever. There's such thing as the tenor clef? Yes, if you... Okay, so when I was reading, I picked from my library the book by Fuchs called Gradas ad Paranasum, which is The Steps to Parnassus, the book on counterpoint. It will actually use all four clefs the way they were intended to be used. So, which one of you? Soprano, alto, tenor, bass, SATB. This is the soprano clef. If you've never seen it before, then get used to it. Take a good look at the soprano clef here. Alto, tenor, bass. Because, you know, 4-part writing used to be done like this, where each voice had their own clef, and the clef indicated which singer was supposed to be playing on it, so. Yeah, so soprano, alto, and tenor bass. There are also some other funky ones here, like the cinnamon roll clef, which I really like. I've only ever seen it once in like an actual score that I've pulled off the shelves, but I think this clef is it's just way better than the bass clef in like every conceivable way. Like, why would you ever use this when you can use this? Like, that's just so much better. Anyway, so that's the 4 clefs there. There are also some other fancy clefs if you're into that, like whatever that is. See, I think the clefs evolved because people used to write like you can see that this kind of, if you really squint your eyes and turn your head, it kind of looks like a G. This used to be an F. I'm not really sure what letter this guy is supposed to be, and I am super not sure what you're supposed to be, if you're supposed to be any kind of clef or letter at all. There's also the double treble clef. And also there's a clef here I've never ever seen in my life before. They must have added this recently. What intonation is this? What is that? What's that called? It's called the G clef ottava bassa with C clef. This is middle C here. Okay. This is just a tenor clef. That literally makes it the same as the tenor clef. Never mind, it doesn't. This is the tenor clef. Can you tell I read the tenor clef? Why would you ever need something like this? You can also have tab with fancy letters, or tab with squished letters. I think I have seen this before. And like a piece for viol da gamba, because I was looking up some viol music I liked. And I tried to read like the C clef on my piano, because of course the music was written for viol da gamba, so they would be reading a different clef than I would. But I couldn't do it. I got so confused. I would have to manually like write it out in MuseScore and transpose it so I'd be able to put it into a readable form. Is this live or is it a pre-recording? It was a pre-recorded, which is why I'm not able to read any of your messages. It's just an Otababasa treble clef, where she sure is. But no, it's a G clef Otababasa with C clef. I don't know. Why are there two clefs in what? I've never ever seen this. I mean, there's the double treble clef. So I don't know why you would ever. I mean, my first thought is maybe like if you are trying to like have two instruments or two voices on one staff, then you can have like a shortcut where you have like, you know, your first this voice is in treble clef and maybe another voice is in alto clef. I don't know. I don't see a reason why you need to combine the two clefs. That just seems confusing. You can also have this clef, which is just, I mean, it just looks like a sad face because it sucks. So get out of here. Don't use that. Okay. Not really super duper liking the way this is so far, but a draft is a draft, so I have to move on. Let me go nick one of the solos I took from here, which was all the way over here in my old project. I'll recognize it when I see it because it's right around one of you guys. It's you. This wonderful trombone thing. Where were you, bass trombone? There you are. Let me listen to that together. A bit quieter though, so you blend in better. Go. At this pace, it kind of the tremolos feel a bit more evil, but it kind of drags on a little bit, which is a quality I don't quite like. I'll try again from here, the faster part. I'll put you back the way you was intended to be used. Also a shush. Dynamics, bang. Why not use Ottava Bassa or 15 Bassa to cut down on ledger lines? Because for... This is kind of like something that I've heard from other people, not necessarily... Because I don't play a wind instrument. I assume you're referring to the horns here. I don't play a wind instrument, so this is just something that I've been told through other people, so it's kind of hearsay. I'm not in like any music courses, nor have I been formally taught in music composition, so I don't... This is all just stuff I've gathered from other folks. But especially for horns, because horn is a transposing instrument, they actually, like the sheet music they read is a fifth higher, perfect fifth, I believe, higher than the notes that actually play on their instrument, like the scientific pitch. And not only that, professional horn players, like, they can read bass clef and stuff just fine. But especially like more amateur horn players, they'd rather just read the treble clef with ledger lines. And not to say that I shouldn't write for bass clef, and it's easier for me to read anyway. I definitely should have done it here. But either way, it's not like a... Like, I can't really say for certain, but I think a horn player would rather read this, like this top horn line, than read this. I mean, I can't really say for certain, but just gathering from what I know, they would rather read they're just more used to it, you know? So. But for like these super low notes, which I'm not even sure if I'll keep on the horn because that is a bit too low for comfort. I don't need those, that's redundant. I mean, I'm sure horns can play that just fine, but it might sound a bit more sonorous than another instrument. But either way, go. It needs to be like noisier here. I'm missing out on the noise, which is why the tam-tam's gonna help me. Get over here, tam-tam. Quieter. I think I want you to get very loud, maybe. Okay. Okay, I think that's enough of that project for now. But there is something that I also wanted to do. What in tarnation? I don't care about any of this. There is something that I did want to do for a while now. Let me pull up a new score file for this, and I shall name it... What shall I name it? Oh, what do I want to eat right now? Noodles. Okay, that's the name of the project now. There's something that I've been wanting to try for a little bit, and it was to do something kind of restrictive as like a writing exercise, and it's to write whatchamacallit, chords, and that's it. Just chords. I haven't really done a whole lot of just chords, something like a chorale. I'm not sure if I could call it a chorale, because I'm not entirely sure what the format of a chorale is, but I think it's because horns have such a large range and treble clef fits more nicely into it. So yeah, all like the famous horn lines you've heard, like famous horn melodies, they're probably like in the more treble-ish range. Horns can go, yeah, horns have such a large range. I would probably the majority of the notes that hornists are comfortable playing are in like the bass clef range, but nevertheless they read the treble clef because that's where all the money is, right? That's where all the good solos are. So they just learn to read the treble clef, and of course, like I said, a professional should easily be able to read treble versus bass clef. For lower levels, maybe not. So you could probably still get away with doing it, but at that point you might, like if you go really low, like below the bass clef staff, then you probably want to consider switching to a tuba or a trombone, or even bassoon. Actually, bassoon might be a bit closer if you don't want something too resonant, because the horn in that range, like in that really low range, won't be as resonant. Like it'll, of course, it'll be resonant, but not as resonant as a bassoon would be, or even a not as resonant as a tuba. Tuba would be super resonant there. And a horn might struggle to play super low, so you might as well give some of those notes to the bassoon, which, believe it or not, will sound kind of similar to horns anyway. I'm gonna pick a key signature. That one. This is what D, nope, D flat major. I don't know why I said G. That's clearly D. Right. Writing with self-imposed restrictions is fun. That's what I was planning to do. I just decided to do just a tiny bit more arranging, but I do want to have some fun with my favorite chart here and my own chart, my Shirgi and chords chart. Very good. I kind of want to use some of these, but also some of these. So we're just going to write some chord progressions. That's it. And I'll talk to you, I guess, about how I write them. Is there like a time signature that's just whole notes? I don't think so. Oh, whatever, that's fine. 4/4 is good. What are the Shirgian chords? Okay. I want you to... I'm hoping that you're all familiar with the modes chart at least. These modes, these things here are the chords of every mode, and all the flats here are based off of the major. So assuming that the major scale is like the bass scale, so imagine we're in C major, right? We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. I almost said H. Not H, A. So you'll notice here that this flat here is in relation to the major scale. So where this was an E here in Ionian, which is major, in Dorian it would be E flat. So it would have E flat and B flat in Dorian. In Phrygian you'd have D flat, E flat, A flat, and B flat, and so on. And this sharp here is F sharp for Lydian. And then basing the chords off of that, you just get this. So these chords, and you notice here there's actually a pattern of chords if you go along the cross diagonal. It's pretty easy with the diminished chords because they have this special symbol here. But if you go on the cross diagonal here, they're all diminished. But if you go on the next cross diagonal, they're all major. The next cross diagonal, they're all minor, so on and so forth. You see they're all the same quality of chords. So these are all major, these are all major, these are all minor, these are all diminished, these are all major, and so on. And that's pretty cool. I thought to myself, like, it's not really coincidence, that's just how the chords were built. But then I wondered out loud, I literally discovered this on stream, what happens if I go on the other diagonal like this? Is there any pattern there? And, well, no, there isn't, but I took those diagonals and I mapped them onto a chart here. So if you look here in Ionian, down to Dorian, down to Phrygian, you'll see here major 1, minor 2, major 3, or major flat 3, and then diminished sharp 4. And you notice those are the exact chords that are on the first row here. So major 1, minor 2, major flat 3, sharp diminished 4, so on and so forth. And each diagonal is mapped out here into a row. And I'm not sure if anyone else has tried this before, so I've stamped my name onto it and I've called it Shirgian chords. And so now I have both the modes chart and also the secondary chart that I invented. How useful are Shirgian chords? Well, I guess it's up to me to find out, isn't it? So that's kind of the exercise that I wanted to do, is try out these. And I guess we'll just start with the very first one, is to write some functional harmony using y'all. And believe it or not, functional harmony is pretty easy. You just have to believe. So it's time to write some chords. That's a lot of flats. I don't care. So you can kind of get a glimpse here at what each mode would feel like, just based on the 1, 4, and 5 chords. So you can see here on this first row here, the 1 is major, the 5 is minor, and the 4 is diminished, which is very, very wacky. And I would like to try just writing in whole notes. I was going to do half notes, but I'll just push the tempo, I guess. Put you at like allegro. A bit more allegro than that though, more like 160. because I'm just going to be writing in whole notes. So if I mark you as 1, then let's think about a very simple chord progression. How about 1, 1, 2, 4, something. Let's do 4. 4 should be G diminished. So that's G, B flat, D flat. Let's move you down, that might be easier for me to conceptualize. You're also not very loud. Oh, that's also my fault because I made you a piano. You know, maybe I should be smarter and I would write better music. Sharp 4. That's correct. Let's try 3 here, which would be in D flat. That should be F flat. So F flat, A flat, and C flat. You're already A flat. And I like here flat 6, which is, maybe I should have done 5 here. I think 5 would be better if I set you to be, what, A flat, E flat, why is the horn in this type quintet, I've always wondered. I don't know. I'm not the CEO of quintets. It's just like this. Three. I think I know anything about writing music. Three, 2, 3, C, no, F, C, do 2, how am I struggling here? Nope. Where's my reference here? D, C, flat. This is a Locrian chord. And you're not diminished, that's right. I just realized here that I wrote a 7-bar phrase instead of an 8-bar one. try again. Any tips for writing unpitched percussions is my greatest compositional weakness by far. Unpitched percussion. I haven't written like a super duper ton of it. Besides like the normal ones you probably are familiar with and probably know how to use, like the snare drum and the bass drum and the cymbals and all that. Everything else, like the tam tam, it's, how do I describe it? It's, I imagine the tam tam is like a huge, like, gust of wind. That's what it sounds like to me. Whenever you hit it, it sounds like a huge gust of wind that just flew by your face. If you want that sort of effect, then I think it's very good for that. The triangle, well, the triangle's a triangle. If you want some sparklies, then the triangle is very sparkly. It's the sparkliest instrument, so you can use that if you want some pixie dust to your music. If you want, ooh, I opted for the wood blocks, like, and the temple blocks, I guess, to go for like a metronome kind of sound. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it's like the closest that I could get to like a metronome sound was using the wood blocks. You could also probably go with like a muted cowbell if you wanted that, although that sounds, it's a bit too resonant. The thing about the metronome is that it's like a very distinct and dead click. The cowbell, of course, by design is a bit more resonant. As far as I know, there's not really, I mean, maybe like an anvil that, but an anvil is a bit too like heavy and stupid, but whatever. I guess you could just ask for an actual metronome, but that's not any fun. What are unpitched percussions? Thunder sheets. I mean, it's in the name. So I'm not going to explain that one too much. You can kind of grasp what that one means. Unpitched percussion. I guess I could just look at the list. The snare drum. There's the anvil. There's a triangle, log drum, never heard of it. And tambourine. Tambourine along with the triangle are very good at accentuating crescendos. They're very good at that because they're like, you know, in the higher pitches. Well, they're not like pitched percussion, but you know, they have a higher kind of frequency range. So they cut through the orchestra more, so they're good along with snare drum, but maybe snare drum is has a bit too much body. If you need something a bit lighter, then tambourine and the triangle are very good at accentuating crescendos. Cannon. I mean, it's a cannon. Like what else? Or a whip. Two wooden boards joined by a hinge, played by being brought together rapidly. Not exactly what I imagine when I think of whip, but sure. I just simultaneously whipped and nay-nayed. As for everyone else, I feel like I have a good grasp on the cymbal. I struggle the most with snare and bass drums. A snare drum isn't like super often used in the orchestra, at least compared to the bass drum. Like the bass drum, of course, is way more used. I know the Rite of Spring has some extremely important bass drum and timpani parts. So if you want to have a listen, study a bit on how to like have basically a bass drum solo, that'd be an excellent place to start. Trying to think of places where bass drum is like very often used. I know there's like some bass drum like solos and concerti that people have written, like a concerto for bass drum, which is very fun, but that's a little different. I imagine you're probably not opting to do that, but it's very interesting. And what else is here? Sleigh bells. That's if Santa Claus is coming to town. Bird call. I don't know, you can just ask for the piccolo to play some bird sounds. That's what they're made for. Metal castanets. Metal wind chimes. Maybe worth noting that I started as a metal guitarist and gradually shifted to writing orchestra music. That's pretty cool. Anyway. Maybe I should do something a bit more idiomatic here. Can I switcheroo you guys around? Can I hear the same one but in not all in diatonic mode? B flat, U. No, wait. But that's... better. You move to 2, which would be E flat, right? Oh, I know chords. Could do 4, could do 5. I'll just do 5. Nice and easy. I could do 3, which should be... three, 4... Three, could do, oh, whatchamacallit, what's this? D flat, C, sharp, E, over G, D. You know, I'm just gonna be lazy and copy 5 again, because I'm so good at this. Try this. And try it over here. 3, flat, 6, so... No, you're... Apparently you were supposed to be double flat, which I completely missed. B flat, flat. Minor 5. It was flat, major 3. Actually, no. Sharp diminished 4, which is Very simple. All these G flats go to G natural. Minor 5. Go. Compare this. Here it almost sounds like it's in a different key. That's better. Let's try this now. We have one my Shirgi chords. Come save me. I really like this 1-6, flat 6. That's very cool. But I want something a bit more tender here. If I do 1, 2, again, now that I'm doing this kind of restrictive work, or I'm trying to stick to one place, it's getting a bit wackier. 1, maybe minor 5 after would be nice. Minor 5, kind of want this. Maybe even go up here. If I have 5, which should be, whatchamacallit, A flat minor. So this E flat would be, nope, this is not E flat at all. A flat minor. This G flat does not appear in A flat minor. I guess I can force it to, but... Ain't that pretty? I think putting this over the G of A flat would make this, what, 2-4? So like this. That's a figured bass. You don't need to know what that means. It's just for me. Let me tie these guys together. The oboe here is very loud, as I should have expected. I'm going to artificially boost the flute though. 1, 5, that's dominant. I could move to a subdominant chord like flat 6, although I think that might be a bit too harsh. So maybe 2 would just be better. And give it that... Well, it's not natural minor. What's that, Dorian? Yeah, it's Dorian. Or no, it's not. Mixolydian, that's the word. It has the major 1, minor 2, and the minor 5. It would sound like Mixolydian. I don't know where the mixo comes from. I guess it's time to find out. I feel like I've looked this up before, but it's time to find out again. Mixolydian. Where does the mixo come from? From Mixolydios, meaning half Lydian. It's half Lydian. I don't know how it's half Lydian, but whatever. Its original kind of concept probably got lost through the ages. Maybe because Mixolydian mixes things up. You're so right. That's I think that's what the Greeks were thinking when they made up that word. And then And 2 would be E flat, major, or no, sorry, minor. Kind of want to keep this G here. Although it'd be... yeah, it would still be G flat. I don't want to go stepping on anyone's toes, though. You're still playing this E, so can you move to D, just for funsies? That hardly sounds like E minor at all, or E flat minor. Oh, probably because there's no B. Nope, no B. No, you move up to E. You move up to B. That's better. If I moved here to flat 7, that would probably be very nice in resolutes. If not, I can try the flat 3, which should be C... oh man. C double... no, just C flat. Just C flat major. I would like you to go down to this nice E though. Or C flat minor, sorry, so you'd be E double flats. Yeah. Actually, you move up to G flat. Nope. And try here instead, my friends. Can you do an F3 flat 3, which should be, what you call it, F flat major. I could move you back to 1. I would like to try 6 though, which would put you on the inversion. So move you up here to B flat, or B with double flat. Something here feels wrong. B double flats, and then D flat. No, that's correct. It's just, I'm just hearing it weird. Awesome. I kind of want this F here. My soul is saying that F belongs here, so maybe 1 would work here. But I don't really want it to end on D, so maybe A is in order. Put it inverted like that. Or maybe, I'm not sure if I really like the 1 right away. Oh, you know, it's fine. I would like not a 7, a 5 here. Try here a flat 7 chord, which should be C. I mean, I've written this already. C flats. So one more time. I'll get rid of the horn here for a second. I want some closer harmony. I would also like you to be louder because I can't hear you. Never mind, I changed my mind. Don't ever do that again. No, I don't like that. Can you do... A, E, B. This isn't really what it is, but I'm gonna consider it functionally dominance. So, there you go. Favorite weird time signature to deploy? 7/4. I mean, it's not that weird, really, but it's my favorite one. That isn't like the normal ones. 5/4 is also pretty good. I have used 11/8 kind of, which is why it's here. Sometimes I've opted for these 1-beat measures, but not very often. And so it's probably got to be 7/4. But to choose. What's this? D flat major over G flat, which would be G flat. It'd be 5/2 question mark. That's whatever. That's probably right. What's this G? Is G in any of these chords? What? D flat, E flat, F flat. What's that 4-chord? D flat, G flat, so G diminished. So G does appear in the diminished. Oh, this is G flat. It appears in the minor. What? I've already used that here though, but I guess I could give it a different flavor by doing something like this. If I put you in an inversion, or wait, no, G doesn't appear here. Whatever, I can make it appear there. There are no limits here. That's a parallel fifth. Go down. That's not. That's a 2-chord. That's not a 5-chord. 5-chord is A flat minor. Well, in this. Alright, I like this. A flat. You go down to C flat. Go again. I don't really like this E here. That's not right. There's no A. What about that G I wanted? Oh, whatever. Can you move to the flat 6 chord, which is B double flat major. So can you move to D maybe? D, yeah, D flat's correct. There's such a gap here in these notes. It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. Can you... Four. This isn't really doing what I want. I think maybe I should have just ended on that phrase there. Here's the first one. I guess I could just add a fermata. Which goes under U. Which I should have added here, really. Not here. Wait. What happened to my favorites panel that I made? Dang it. I'm gonna have to set that as my new defaults. So set you there. I don't really like any of this stuff now. I much prefer this. I guess I read Allegro, even though it doesn't really feel Allegro. It's not really Allegro. Start again with this cadence. I like this cadence a bit. I would like it to be a bit more clustered though. So if I could have an E flat, D flat, C flat, and maybe A and E. That oboe sticks out. I'll just get rid of it. It's dead now. Maybe the oboe can play the melody. Five, do 4. I don't think I used 4. I didn't use 4. Hello, don't know anything about this channel. Great. D flat, D flat. Can you play E here? And you play what? G. Someone needs to play B. You play B. You continue holding this note. You move up. Two. Hold this. Here, hold this. Oh, I don't, B flat. Oh man, who does B flat appear? B flat appears in 2. That's where we just came from though. In 2. It appears in 4, which we also used. It also appears in flats. Does it appear in flat 6? It does not appear in flat 6. It is the 6th. It doesn't appear in anyone else. Well, once again, I can probably make it appear in another thing. I could move to 5, could move to 7. Flat 7, what would that be? Again, C flat major with a B over it. Kind of curious what that sounds like now. What's that? 5 over 2, 4. So, like this? Bang. I like this cadence a bit more, that's kind of pretty. Can you move to a wonderful 7 chord here with maybe over G, flat, 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 7, like this. Fellow Texan, that's me, yeehaw. Yep, I'm in Texas. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds kind of like a bad DSE array, but whatever. Okay. Start from the beginning. I kind of like this chord here. Was that the way I wrote it before? It's had this C. Nah, move it back to the way it was here. Try, oh man. 5 4 2 1 5 1 1 2. Man, what the heck is a harmony? Try 2 here. Oboe adds such a nice timbre to the chords. It sure does. Oboe is very... I gotta remember that oboes is soprano instruments. So oboe sounds very nice up here a little bit, just a tiny bit, just kind of tickling above the treble clef. Very lovely. Really reaching the edge of its range. Bow, 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 bow. Move up, move up, move up. What's this? Flat 3, that's what I'm looking for. Need to deploy more woodwinds in my own music. I need to deploy more strings in my music. I have a weird, not aversion, I just, when I'm thinking of stuff, when I think of like instruments that I'm adding to my thing, like strings are like one of the last things that I think of. I usually think woodwinds and brass first and percussion and maybe even like a piano. But like strings are like the last thing I think of when I think of how I'm going to arrange something. Like the if a string does come up, it's usually as like a soloist. Like I think of like a solo violin or viola or cello or something playing a melody line, but it's almost always winds for me, and I don't really know why. I don't even play like a orchestral wind instrument or anything. That sounds a bit too fast. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Thank you. Also get rid of these stupid ties. I play the harmonica. That's my instrument. I only play percussion, so what part of me given composition that I can't take the percussionist out of myself? Why would you ever deny your percussionist roots? Doesn't that seem kind of silly to you? If you like writing for percussion, you should just write for percussion. It's not like the world is lacking in percussion players. We probably just move back to 5. Or maybe, yeah, 5 is probably the safest one. And I like safe. whoops. I'm curious now, hold on. I'm just curious what it would sound like if I had like not woodwinds playing this, and if instead I had someone else, the string section, playing this, just out of curiosity. Oh my goodness. I'll keep the oboe though, because I like the oboe. Okay, that looks a little stupid, but whatever. Oh yeah, piano. Shush. And try here my wonderful multiple string section, not multiple string section, just string section packs. And I guess if I have that, I might as well have the contrabasses, right? Not comma, not pits, etc., just bits. Can you try here? I would like, what are you? A flat minor. A flat minor with a G in the bass. Nope, completely wrong. B in the bass. And what am I doing? Okay, this is totally not a chamber piece anymore, but whatever. Copy this. Uh-huh. Go. That doesn't sound as nice as I hoped it would. Nope, terrible. Get out of here. I'm not sure if I really like that F there. I think maybe these strings here are a bit too thick in the beginning. They sound nicer when they're far apart like this. Especially this cluster here. I'll have the clarinets play this. No, 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 opposite. No, 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 no. No, no, what in tarnation? No, combine together, nerds. Thank you. Okay. This should also be, what's it? G flat. This should be what, E flat minor? No, I got it right. CB. I want E flat. Add more measures. Shall I be E flat minor? Just to be sure. And you should be what, G? No, D flat major. I want you to be a bit more fun than that though. So can you do E flat or E flat minor? So I could do E flat, E, F, try F. Instead of D here. And for right 5 here, if I do, was it E flat minor to 5? 5 would be, whatchamacallit, B flat minor. So B flat minor over D would have a, and D, or it would be D flat, right? B flat, D flat, so it'd be like this. Or, no, wait, you're already, wait, yeah, you're already D flat, never mind. I need to double flat you. How do you know which can go after the other? Well, like chords. There's like a theory reason. The extremely short version is that there are some chords which are, they go into groups, and you can kind of have those chords follow one after another in a certain pattern, and it sounds like a tension and release pattern. You probably heard that before, and it makes it all work. I don't know, it's super vague, but without going through the details, it's the fastest version ever. Mm. Um, 1, 5, 6, try 3. 3 should be, I guess if I move to minor, I should use one of these other ones. I can move on to the second one, which would be 3, E flat, F, and here would be G flat, but I need G minor. So there's already an F in the flute, so I'll change you to G. And then change you to kind of the pattern we was doing over here. Okay. I thought G flat could still be G flat minor. What's the difference? You meant G flat major. What? This is E flat minor, but it's also your G flat major, E flat. You can see here, they use the same key signature, but I chose to use E flat minor for this. Three, 1, 5, 1, 5, 3. Could do 3, 2, 4. If I did 2, that would be F. It'd be flat 2. So what was that? E flat. I guess it would be F flat, wouldn't it? F flat major. Four A flats. I'm also not so sure about this 2, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And try 4. Do you have perfect pitch? Absolutely not. 1653. That doesn't appear anywhere here. What are you talking about? I think maybe 3. I tried 2, 3, 3. I could just move back to 1, I guess. 1. Move back to a flat. That would be 1, 6. So add a flat. Make sure that's doing that because MuseScore won't do it for me because it's a wimp. Oh, the flute can't play that note. Lame. Move up. Oh, I remember I added a bassoon here and then didn't do anything with it. That's very smart of me. I guess I could have the bassoon play this. Maybe not that. What happened to the stringies? First violins, shut up, you're so loud. Sheet music is the one with the numbers you reference. Oh, this one? This one I made myself. You'll see I slapped my name on it. If you want like a chords chart, also hi iguanas. If you want the chords chart, there are multiple of them online. You could just take a screenshot of this one if you want. This is one that I made. As for these are kind of like of my own invention. So I made this chart up. This one though is pretty standard. You can find it on like Wikipedia or whatever, but I like this one because it has colors. And Wikipedia doesn't like colors because it's lame and dumb. I need this chord to be a bit more fluffy. It's a bit too nice. It needs some fluff. What the colors mean? They don't mean anything. I just chose them because they look nice. I can have maybe G flat. A flat, D flat, G natural. With C natural. That sounds very bad. Okay, this G doesn't sound as good as I hoped it would. Try E, try B, try... Are you already doing B? F. How do you fluff? Fluff is pretty easy to achieve. You just stack chords in fourths instead of thirds. Or fifths. But I like fourths more, but fifths are also good. So let's just do it on G. Here's a G chord with thirds. Let me make it less stupid. Hold on. Maybe do it in violins. You can also stack chords in fourths though. You can also stack them in fifths. Kind of hard to hear though, so I'm going to lower some of these notes. Maybe like flats. I would call those fluffy chords. If you cluster them enough, then they just turn into thirds. But really what you're doing is and plus Musical will just let you keep adding them. Man, that sounded like a bunch of crickets. So that's what I did here. You'll notice here it goes A flat, E flat, and then, well, after this E flat I put B flat, E flat, B flat, and then F. This F was up here, but I didn't like this jump, so I just moved it down. Okay, what do I want here? C, B flat. I mean, I guess it's just asking for like a C chord. Let's see, and that would make you a 6. 6 in... I could do flat 6, which would be E flat. There's already a C flat here, so I guess C flat is part of this. You're playing C flat, right? That's correct, okay. Hold this E. Move it down. What in tarnation? Where are you so far apart? There you go. Hold this F maybe. Try again from the modulation. Okay. Do you have musical training? Yeah. I'm not a music student though. I did have musical training when I was a kid, which has definitely helped me. I'm not going to deny that, but not currently a music student. What's the process with this right now? Click notes into the thing until it sounds good. Start from the beginning. Or I guess I could start from here. This is my practice though. I want the oboe here to tie differently. Try this. Better. I don't like this. I'm changing it. You can maybe go back to the pattern you was doing before here. Which would make this a 1 chord. I mean, these are the same chord. You can hear those are basically the same. These guys have just been... I just noticed you guys are playing the same darn thing the whole time. I really like this movement in the bass though, this chromatic movement, I like that. I would like it to continue, so maybe move to F natural or something. And what chord here has an F? That would be 2. I can do 2. 2 should be easy peasy. Minor key with major 4. It's a mode of my own invention. So, is my mode. Probably should have marked it. There are modes that I invented. So I guess you would call this, I don't know, Shirgi in 1 is my mode. Maybe G or E flat. Maybe Shirgi in 2. I don't have any names for them. They're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. Why is the viola seeing more variation than the violins? I don't know, that's just that's just how I wrote it. These guys, violins, you've had too much fun. Now you guys just get to play these stupid long tied notes where your viola cousins get all the fun now. They get all the figgy pudding. But yeah, these chords here, I have like the normal chords chart, and then I have this one that I made, which is why it has my name. The Shirgi chords. I mean, I just kind of invented this on a whim like a few months ago, but I haven't actually like written anything quote-unquote serious with them. So this was mostly just like an exercise in doing that, but it's yielded some things that I think are kind of fun. Although these chords aren't very, pretty sure these probably exist in one of these. No, actually. Minor 5 and minor 3. The closest is here is diminished 3 and that one. And that mode. So I guess this one is a bit unique in that Mixolydian doesn't even have the minor one. I mean, I guess you can rationalize it by calling it, you know, a borrowed chord or whatever, but they're all borrowed chords here. I kind of want F flat here. My heart is saying F flat, so F flat you shall be. Yes, better. We hear this progression. Was this B flat major or maybe D flat major I'm thinking of? Yeah, well, D flat major. Which is not where we started. It sure is. Which would not that. Key signature, there you are. Yoink. That's the correct one, right? Yep. It's so tempting to go to like the satisfying, easy resolution, but now that I think about it, it doesn't really sound that good. Anyway, just start here from the beginning again. Also, I should probably incorporate the other instruments. Also, these horn parts are kind of boring. Maybe we can have you play like these two middle voices here or something. Or maybe these middle voices. Y'all here. If I just implode you and put ya in horns. There you go. Beautiful. Look at that wonderful F flat. F flat 2. Let me there you go. I feel like that might be a bit too big of a gap, though. That looks kind of stupid. Let me do this. Let me tie all the relevant notes, though. So C. Oh wait, you need a natural. I can't believe I missed that. Did you play an instrument? I studied the piano, and so that's the instrument I learned. Not that I was very good at it, though. That's just how I learned theory. Which is why when I think of, like, what chord is that, I open this. So I can, like, visualize it. I mean, I guess that's more or less universal because it's easy to visualize chords on a piano more than any other instrument, I guess, but oh well. I know, like, guitarists visualize, like, a fretboard, which is, of course, fine, but, like, I don't know, I feel like this is more universal because you can very easily see the spacing of notes on a piano, whereas on a guitar it might be a little trickier, because it's all the notes condensed onto 6 strings, right? But here, all the notes each get their own buttons, so I guess it's easier. Whatever. I probably didn't need to explain that to you. I'm going to be very creative here and do this. I'm so creative. And watch this. You guys have never seen this kind of technique before. Bang. Shut up. There you go. Skilled enough at piano to teach it? Maybe. I haven't tried. Lobbing into Tux guitar for the first time right at the moment. I make hotkeys in these kind of programs look easy. Look, okay. I've been using Blender for a long time now, so I am a keyboard warrior. I need some shortcuts so I can be the very best employee of all. And I learned all my shortcuts, ate all of my vegetables, and it just makes working so much faster. Hi, iguanas. You make a good programmer. Thank you. I learned that I don't like programming. I know how to do it, unfortunately. I don't like it very much, though. It's not my thing. But if I needed to, then I could do it. But I do have the click-clackiest keyboard for this reason. I wonder if you could hear that. Did my mic pick that up? No, it sure did. It also screwed up my MuseScore file. There you go. Can you replace U2 violins? I want a less stringy sound at this part here. So clarinets, you're up again. You're playing all the boring stuff, but I don't care. I hired you to play some chords, and you shall play chords. You don't need to hold for this long. You can play like that. Again, so much for the self-imposed restrictions that I said I would use, but I'm a little too excited now. Oh wait, also we're supposed to get rid of this. Go away. And viola, you can be replaced by the horn. No, no, no. Hmm? What do you think of classical saxophone? I think it's fine. I just, personally, I haven't heard... Like, I personally haven't used it very much because I haven't had, like, a melody that I thought, or chords that I thought were conducive to saxophone very much. I think it's great, though, if you can find a way. The thing is, for me, though, it's saxophone. The saxophone is, like, it has a very particular timbre that... I know it's supposed to, like, be, in theory, it's like the bridge between, the... whatchamacallit, the horns and the woodwinds, but I feel like horns and woodwinds blend well enough already, and the saxophone sounds great at the lower volumes. It does blend that nicely, but then at the higher volumes, it just really doesn't do that. Like, the horns blend way better at forte than the saxophones do. The saxophones sound out a lot, which is of course fine, but like I said, I haven't really had a melody that I've written yet that would sound like it works on that. And it's very squeaky. Squeaky, squeaky. Putting a wood rod on a brass instrument, very fun. Or wood mouthpiece. Why do I say rod? Putting a wooden rod, putting a wooden mouthpiece. Has anyone tried the other way around? Putting a brassy mouthpiece on the woodwind instruments? Is there such thing? The opposite of a saxophone? The other way around. Is there an instrument that's like that? There definitely is. What would it sound like? Oh well. Probably need to mark legato here. Legato. Same for you. Legato. And same for you. Legato. The Ophiclyde rights. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I have definitely heard of this instrument. Brass instruments invented a keyed bugle. Isn't this like the forerunner to the, yeah, hold on. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article right now. I guess I can just show you. Bang. Family of conical board key brass instruments invented in early 19th century France to extend the keyed bugle into the lower range of these, the bass Ophiclyde. Oh, it even says Ophiclyde. An 8-foot C or 9-foot B flat took root over the course of the 19th century in military bands as the base of the orchestral brass sections out Western Europe, placing the serpents. However, it had largely been superseded in bands by the euphonium and orchestras and formed of the modern tuba. Well, yeah, probably because the tuba is like super duper resonance, and I guess it just wasn't as resonant as this instrument. Probably because, like, by comparison, this guy is kind of skinny, whereas the tuba is nice and wide. Look how wide that is. Beautiful. This one's kind of skinny by comparison, so I guess the tuba would be more desired in like a concert hall, you know, and especially in a band. But I don't even know what it sounds like. That's pretty cool. Whoa. This one's so tiny. That one's really big. This guy lives in a fancy house. Look at that. It's so fancy. I got that blue furniture. Oh, we actually... Yippee. I'm trying to like put into words what it sounds, what intonation, I'm trying to put into words what it like sounds like and where maybe I could use it, because it definitely sounds like a kind of like a French horn, right? But it has a little bit, I mean, I don't know if it's just the quality of the video or something, but just judging of those recordings I heard, it's a bit more, let me pull up the more high quality one. As opposed to a horn, the sound is a bit more airy. It's closer to a bassoon in timbre, right? Probably because of its shape, really. It's shaped more like a bassoon, but it's brass, right? So, sutrophone. What in the world? I've never seen this before. Sutrophone. Maker Francois Soudre. Its shape resembles that of an ophicleide. It was patented in 1892. Unique features of this instrument was the mirliton, a kazoo-like apparatus attached to the side of the bell with a membrane. Oh, so it's a well, but what does it sound like? Well, now I gotta know. Sudrophone. What does this thing sound like? Can I have like a solo? That's a lot of bass coming out of something that doesn't look that big. I mean, of course the tubes are very long, but they're like super condensed, so it doesn't really look like... I mean, I guess like the French one can do the same, but... There's the buzzy. Sounds kind of like a contrabassoon when it's like that, I guess. The contrabassoon is a bit more buzzy like that because of its flaps. Okay. What's its lowest note? Ooh, that was pretty good. Maybe like bass sutrophone. Gonna have an even lower one. What in the world is this? Hi, James Morrison.
Oh, I see, it's a tone.
Uh-huh. That instrument is too normal. Oh my gosh.
You can tell that's a horn, can't you?
Yeah.
That's a big cone. I think that's the ophicleide.
Because it's opening the holes rather than closing them.
Ah.
Oh my, what in tarnation is that? What is this?
No valves, so...
Right.
No.
Why is it... What is... Why? What kind of Dr. Seuss ass tuba? It's so awesome. I want one. How does this even work? And why are there two of them? What instrument is that? Oh, there's another one with two openings. Oh, wait, what does it sound like? I was hoping maybe I would hear like 2 different pitches, but I guess that's not how that works. Although I would really like it to be the— oh my gosh. What a slide. Very awesome. Thank you, James Morrison. I don't know why the video's name is just your name, but that's pretty powerful. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Antiquated bazooka. Buckin. I've never heard of most of these. Slide trumpets. Saxotromba. It doesn't even show me a picture. Oh, there it is. These are so goofy. There's the post horn, natural trumpet, natural horn, jazzo. What I. It's just every brass instrument. Does it have a slide? Please tell me it has a slide as well. It has a mute. Well, it has the mute. It has the like weird trumpet design, and it also has the saxophone shape. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a very fitting name. It is the jazzophone. Oh my gosh. Very cool. Helicon. Oh, weird. The Dord. What an instrument. Dord. What instrument do you play? No, I play the Dord. For other uses, see Dord. Oh yeah, the D or D. I remember that. I think the clarion is like the— oh no. I thought it was like the clarinet, but no, it's the that was a shalom, that was the clarinet. I think clarion is the name of the upper range of the clarinet though. Not that. So I think up here is called clarion. Let me verify that. Is it called clarion? Is it in here? No. Oh yeah, it is. Or clairon. Very different. This one's clarion. Yeah, clarinet is clarion. Very awesome. What does it sound like? I don't think that's a real clarion. Oh my gosh. Braying of donkey. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That's it? Oh. Okay. Man, middle ages instruments, they just sucked. They can't even play Bach. How terrible. They could play, what's his name? They could play John Cage, though. His music is, pretty difficult, but I'm pretty sure the natural horns, even without their chromatic stuff, they could do it. Pretty cool. Maybe we should also give the stringy treatment to these guys. I think this horn here might be a bit strained. Can I put you in cello, maybe? Viola, cello. Quieter. Shut up. Actually, I still kind of like the bassoon playing this. I guess since I did kind of establish here that I would have 2 clarinets, then 2 clarinets there shall be. Implode! Thank you. Get imploded. You two also implode. That's definitely less strange sounding than the horn. Maybe a little bit of cello here. your cheat sheet of the scale types you made. What, these? Bang. This is also on my website that I haven't worked on in 10,000 years. It's pretty old. That's where I got it. Where's my very website that has nothing on it? Oh yeah, that's where I got it. There it is. Man, I need to... I want to do like a stream where I work on this. I'm just not too sure what to add. But anyway, yeah, that's where I got my chord chart. There it is. You can take a screenie if you want. You can also take a screenie with the iguanas. The composing iguanas. They're very wise and their knowledge about music is without bounds. I also have a bunch of other stuff here. If you want to take a look at it, I guess, if you want to take a closer look at any of them. I think these are from Korsakov's book, and I think those two. I think I had more at some point, but I lost the old ones, so I just got these, and I can't really remember what was on the other ones, so that's what I have so far. Half notes. Okay. I mean, this was just kind of born out of me messing around, so I guess I was a little bit productive. I'm in the last class of sight singing and I have to memorize what those scales sound like. Unfortunately for me, didn't have to do any sight singing, but I didn't pursue like a degree in music. Maybe if you need like a degree or AP or something, you need to sight sing, but I didn't have to do that. I kind of just, I don't really know what the modes sound like. I can glean what like they're feeling because I've written with them. I've borrowed chords from them, so you can kind of get an idea of what each one sounds like. I would say Ionian is very... It's very royal sounding. It's very... It's very pompous. Is that a word? Is that the word I'm looking for? Very stately. Dorian... I would say... Dorian is like... I don't want to use something that's a bit too poetic because as much as I'd like to, I want to be a bit more helpful, not super esoteric. I would say Dorian is a little bit more mysterious sounding, a bit more leafy, I would say. Phrygian is like, I mean, this is like my personal opinion, obviously, so it of course depends on how you use it, but if I were to judge them purely by their like face value, Phrygian is a bit, I think Phrygian's quite fun. It's a bit more spiky and it has a bit more bites, but not like angry. It's not like angry bites. It's more like sour kind of bites, you know? Sour has kind of a negative connotation, but I don't mean it like that. Sour, like, you know, like an orange is sour. It's enjoyable. Lydian is... I don't know. I haven't used Lydian a whole lot. I don't really know. Just based on looking at the chords itself, though, I would say Lydian is like an overripe banana. Moving on. Mixolydian, it's like I think maybe Mixolydian is probably the saddest key, or maybe not saddest. Maybe sad is a bit too general. Most kind of it's the cloudiest. Most not like foggy kind of cloudy, but cloudy like overcast. Whereas Aeolian, Aeolian's like oh, I don't know. Aeolian sounds the most, what's the word? Sneaky. No, Locrian is the one that sounds very sneaky. Aeolian sounds a bit more like a dark like a dark room like lit up by like a single candle. It's very not mysterious like Dorian is. It's more frightening. But Locrian is a bit more sneaky. It's gonna catch you. I think I did write a Locrian progression once as like an experiment. I can't remember which project it was though, because my projects are very helpfully named. So I don't remember which one it was. It could be any of these. I don't remember. Look, it was probably among these, but I can't remember which one it is. Is it this one? It was probably one of my earlier ones. Nope. What is this? Hold on, I'm gonna turn on the volume just in case. That sounds stupid. No wonder I abandoned that. No, it's probably one of these old ones. Again, I can't remember which one it was, and it very helpfully hasn't loaded any. Thank you. I have so many unfinished projects. Your Shirgi and cheat sheet too. Sure. There it is. It's not very nicely formatted like the other one, but you can take a screenie of that one. I'm going to find this Locrian one. I'm going to find it, and I can't remember which one it is. It was probably maybe. I remember it had like a small amount of instruments, which is kind of what I'm scanning for. But again, I can't remember which one it was. I think I made like a short about it, but I do want to find it. You play anything currently or just compose? I'm not. I mean, I can play, but I don't like play it for like school or competitions or anything. I can technically play the piano and I can technically play the guitar. I like doing singer-songwriter stuff though, don't get your hopes up. That's what I like to do. And I play it at the jam. And I fill in for piano and the people that usually play piano leave. So that's about all. Man, which one of these projects was it? It was probably one of the, I swear. Oh, I'm heading so much towards the top of this. Dang it. I went all the way without looking. No mandolin compositions. No. Unfortunately, what is this? Oh, was this me trying to write a folia? What does it sound like? I have no memory of me writing this, even though I know I did it on stream. That's stupid. No wonder I could stop working that. But which one? Which one is the... Is it this one? No, it's not this one. I remember it's not that one. It's not exothermic redox. Don't ask me what that one is. Is it this one? Nope. What about... Oh man, I need to name my things better. Is it this one? I don't think so. What does it sound like? Great. I'm going to show my Locrian progression. I'm going to do it. Unless I just... That's me. Uh, 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 spooky chords. Spooky. This one. I found it. This is Locrian. You can see here. It's just, as the project title says, it's descending fifths. But these are all Locrian chords. Right. So, yeah. There we go. 1, there you go. Diminished 1, minor 4, minor flat 7, blah 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 blah. You get the idea. And that's this flat major 5. Sounds amazing. I think maybe it's because it doesn't really sound like it's in Locrian. Something about like the tonic chord being diminished just kind of makes it feel like it's not really rooted in that, because like a minor or major chord sounds more strong and has like it feels like a better foundation for a key. But since Locrian don't have that, even though it technically resolves to this diminished chord, it doesn't really feel like it, right? So, and music is of course more about feeling than what the chords, what the theory might dictate. So that's that. But other than that, I'll probably get back to doing the Chopin one. I think that's what everyone is waiting for me to do, is to continue doing this. I kind of wanted to have one, like an arrangement alongside this, and I tried doing Brahms. I don't really think it worked out. I kind of want to do a Schoenberg one. I think it'd be very interesting to orchestrate a Schoenberg and then also a Chopin one. But we'll get to that another time. I'll figure out which Schoenberg one I want to do. He doesn't have that many piano solo things, so not only do I have to find one that can I hear. Just go check out my other stream. This is the end of this one. So thanks for watching. You can join my Discord server in the link in the description, and you can also subscribe, I guess. But you should join the Discord server. Come be admitted into the Love Shirgi College of Music. Very important. Why am I so zoomed in here? I don't remember being so... Nope, that's the wrong one. Nope, that's the wrong one again. Slightly smaller. There you go. Okay, well anyway, yeah, join the Discord server and stuff. I mean, I know it says Love Shirgi College of Music, and technically you're encouraged to write your music compositions or post them there and post your performances, but really it's mostly a server where I post Sailor Moon gifs, so look forward to that, and I'll see y'all later.